PhotoKey is optimized for professional workflows involving large batches of photos and allows for a unique, customizable experience based around your needs as a photographer. The basic workflow involves 3 steps. First, importing images. Second, processing images. And third, exporting the final composites. I'm Aaron Patel, and in this video we will discuss the third step, exporting your final images from PhotoKey 7 Pro. PhotoKey gives you a variety of ways to export. You can use canvas export for your currently displayed single image. You can batch export a huge quantity of images at once. You can use auto export to process your images without any interaction being required. As a pro, it's also important to have options for emailing the images or uploading them directly to FTP servers. Whichever options are useful for you in your photography, they all use settings that can be found in the Export toolset. Select the Export toolset, and the first thing that we find is the Format menu. The format you select here will be used for all exported images. JPEG creates smaller file sizes, which are great for uploading onto social media and quick email. PNG and TIFF preserve maximum quality, as well as alpha transparency if needed. The compression slider lets you adjust the balance between image size and quality. The prefix and suffix fields let you amend the name of your exported file. You can thus label the processed versions of your images or add other data to the file names. The output field shows the naming structure that will be used when you export your batch based on your prefix and suffix entries. The tick boxes here let you quickly determine if you want to preserve the color profile or EXIF data from the foreground image. The remaining controls relate to batch export, and we'll come back to those in a little while. Let's look at canvas export. Canvas export saves the currently displayed canvas as a new image. You can access it from the File menu, here on the toolbar, or with the keyboard shortcut Command E for Mac or Control and E on Windows. This lets you quickly export an image at any time. The file format will be taken from the export settings we just looked at, but here you have an opportunity to type in any file name you want. This is different from batch export, which bases the file name on the name of the current foreground image. Using the batch settings lets you export as many images as you want with a single command. As we covered in part 2 of this tutorial series, part of processing a large batch of images is selecting the ones you want to keep and adding them to the batch. The Export button in the Export toolset exports all of the images you have added using the selected export settings. The toolset also contains a list of your images so that you can easily edit which images are included in the batch here if necessary. We also have an option for batched backgrounds. This lets you export multiple versions of each foreground using a different background for each version. This is perfect for providing options for your client so that they can make their final decisions later on. To do this, turn on the Batched Backgrounds option. Jump back to the Import toolset and select the Backgrounds tab. Once we've selected the backgrounds we want to add to the batch, we're ready to go. Click the Export button and our batched backgrounds will be used. If you're using a hot folder for import, you can also set up the automated export of your images. For this, it's really important to make sure that you are happy with all of your settings, as there is no interaction while hot folder export is active. When you turn this feature on, every image shot with your tethered camera is immediately processed and exported to your selected location using your chosen settings. If you're working solo at an event, this lets you spend more time at the camera and with your clients rather than sitting editing at a computer. It's great. If it turns out that something does need adjusting, you can turn off auto export and make the needed changes, and then simply reactivate it. FTP export allows you to upload images directly to an FTP server. This is really useful for off-location storage or for getting your images directly to a follow-up professional service such as a printing lab. To set it up, go to the File menu and select Options. Click the FTP tab and enter the login info for your FTP server. Once that's set up, you can then use the FTP upload button to upload the current canvas at any time. If you would like to automate FTP uploads, then you can use the FTP export button in the Export toolset. This lets you select a local folder where copies of your images will be stored, then automatically uploads the images to your FTP space as well. Individual images can also be emailed directly from PhotoKey. This can be a fast way to send proofs or finished versions to clients. It can also be useful for publishing images to Facebook, Flickr, or other social networks that let you post submissions using a custom email address. Like FTP, you first set up your email account in the Options. Select the Email tab, then fill in details for your SMTP email account. Also note that TLS is not supported. Enter the username and password that you use to log into your email account. The rest of the information will be available from your email provider in their setup guide, so do check with them if you don't already know which settings to use. Host is the address of your SMTP server. For example, Gmail uses smtp.gmail.com. The port will vary depending on your email provider. Gmail uses port 465. If you find your email requires SSL, enable that option too. Email settings will be applied to every email you send. Sender's name will be displayed on the sent email. Sender's email is the address that any replies will be sent to and can be a different email address to the one you're sending from. You can also set up a default subject to be used on all sent emails and control the image size so the image is easily downloaded. Auto-generate file name will use the same file name that would be used in standard export, or you can set a custom file name. With these settings all saved, you are ready to email an image whenever the need arises. I would recommend though, run a test to yourself and make sure you're happy with how everything looks before rolling it out live on customers. In the File menu, you can select the Email Canvas command. There's also a keyboard shortcut, as you can see, Command M on the Mac and Control M on Windows. Note the envelope icon. You can use the same icon in the toolbar to email your canvas as well. Use any one of these options and the email window appears, where you can type in the email address or addresses that you want to send your image to. If you're sending to multiple addresses, separate each address with a space or a semicolon. You can also edit the subject if you don't want to use your default. Then, just click send and away it goes. And away I go. That concludes this 3-part series on PhotoKey 7 Pro's powerful and flexible workflow. Try out these features for yourself and see what best works for you in your photography. And be sure to keep an eye out on our PhotoKey blog, as well as the Learn page for more great photography hints and tips. I'm Aaron Patel for PhotoKey, and thanks for watching.